Hey everyone, Sound884 here with a Transformers Studio Series review. Today we're looking at the Leader Class Blackout. I've had this figure for some time. I just haven't really had time to do many review videos lately. So this is probably my first one in about 2 weeks. So I'm trying to, get back on track here. And look at Blackout. And he comes with his little cinema scene in the background here, which is like a succent-based air attack, which is nice. And if you want to, display your figures with that, it is, a nice way to display them. Overall, the figure is a nicely detailed and sculpted figure. He's got the look down, I would say, of Blackout. My only complaints on the figure overall is that he's really a busy figure. He's got so much folding and panels moving and stuff that he's just busy. And he just looks, I think the word, he's just got a lot of kibble hanging around. The back does clean up fairly nice, though. And it doesn't want to stay tabbed. Yeah, it's tabbed, I think. So the back cleans up fairly nice on the figure itself. Like I said, he's just got a lot of little busy pieces. The feet are nice, and they are articulated, where he does have some ankle tilts. And there's a slight front and back here. That's always nice. So you can get him in some poses. Also, he does have the knee bends, and this back here will kind of prevent some of it. Let's see some knee bend. It's got a double hinge. There's one here and another hinge here, so you can even get further poses by doing his two knees he has. He's got slight swivel up here. It's just so much, it just gets in the way. There is no waist articulation at all on the figure. It has hands, and the first couple movies style hands I was never a big fan of. They're just like claws, but he does have finger articulation. This bottom digit here, thumb, whatever you want to call it, does come down. You can close his hand and also open it. And his hand's on like a little joint here, but he's got so much stuff down here that you really get nothing out of it. And then there's no swivel to turn his hand the other way, so they're just stuck in that one position, which is probably one of the bigger complaints on the figure itself. Just have an outwards hinge here, an elbow, which does go slightly backwards as well, and goes up to about there. And then there's another hinge up top where you can get on his shoulder, where you can get his arm to go all the way up. So you can get him in some decent poses there. Take a look at his head sculpt. I think it is very nicely done. It has decent movement for what limited space it has available. I mean, you can turn his head left to right. He's got a slight up and down rocker. So he's got decent movement in his head. Better than some of the other Studio Series, like Ratchet. He's got really poor movement in his head. Starscream's isn't that great either. He's got his cannon in the front here that you can raise up and leave up so he can blast Tyrese Gibson's character. You leave it down however you want to display your figure. Leaving it up is cool, but if you want to handle him, it's just there. You might hit it, break it. I don't know. Like I said, overall the figure is very, very detailed, and I do like this figure. Yes, I said do. All right. Comparisons with some other figures. This is him with Deluxe Class Ratchet of the Studio Series, and you see he really does dwarf Ratchet. Ratchet comes up to his waist. This is him with Voyager Optimus Prime, and he comes slightly above, right to his booby area. And this is Voyager class from last night, Megatron, and he is slightly bigger. And his top of his head ends probably at where his chin is. I would say he's probably slightly on the small side for a leader class figure. This is a Titan Returns leader class, and you can see he is a lot bigger. I do not have the leader class Grimlock yet. I know he does in the box appear to be a lot bigger than Blackout, but I think where the differences comes is he's got a lot going on. Blackout does, and they go based on weight, plastic usage, or whatever how they do it. He probably equals them in that, because he has a lot going on. There's a lot of stuff going on with his figure. He's got a ton of articulation, and is a big, massive figure already. And he's got all this up here that goes back here, which it probably equals like I said, the amount of plastic. It goes in other figures, and the height would be more similar to a regular leader class, going to the very top of his turbine up top. He's got his blade on his shoulder he has in the movie where he chops stuff up a lot. Now it is removable. It is just his tail fin. You just want to grab here and pull out. You can kind of rock it out, but this kind of prevents some of that if you want it, because it is a tight. You push it all the way in and it stays in fairly well, and it's really kind of hard to get out. Also, you can store Scorponok on his back in robot mode. That way he can pop off like he did in the movie. He also stores underneath him in helicopter mode, and we'll see that in just a little bit. So overall, in his robot mode, I am very, very pleased with the look of him. He does look pretty movie accurate, to be honest with you, and that it does make me happy. So let's take a look at him in his helicopter mode. And here's Blackout in his helicopter mode, AC-130. What is? Redo that. And here's Blackout in his helicopter mode, his base assault, and he is very impressive in the helicopter mode. Now, I've said this once in every video with all of the Studio Series figures, getting things to tab in and stay tabbed in. I feel like I'm building with Legos with this guy. Every time I tab something over here, I'll pop it out on the opposite side, tab that side back in, something over here, tab out. I still can't get all these tabs to really align perfectly. These things like to come untabbed on me a lot. Mainly it's just everything on the sides just like to pop out. And this stays fairly good, the back end to the top that comes down. But I have the hardest time with these, getting these into here. It's just a lot of tabs, and they're very flimsy tabs, so they don't really get in there very well and stay. But these back here are a lot bigger and more of a tighter fit, so they do stay a little bit better. Scorponok does store underneath, and he said I hit it too hard, so it popped out. But you can store Scorponok down here. He does have the wheels. They do not roll. They are for commercial looks only, and just to hold them off the ground so you don't scratch the bottom of the figure. Like overall, as I say, he is very impressive. You can see him peeking out at you inside. The amount of detailing on this guy is very nice. Now, it could be just a user error on my end with the tabs. Maybe I'm just not getting it all tight enough underneath to really lock them all together. But he's like 46 steps, so there's a lot involved in this guy. And so, like I said, in thin plastic, he's kind of hollow back here. So when you start hitting stuff together, it's just easy to pop stuff back out. His forearm blade goes on the back end. Spins really good. These do spin as well. They're big and heavy, and some of them are, have movement for transformation. So you just gotta find the right one to grab if you want to spin them. See how they all move. But yeah, it's there if you want it. This is a very nice, say, shelf piece to look at. He is massive in helicopter mode. I mean, massive. I barely get him fit on my table here. Enough room to get the camera. Here's comparison with Starscream. I don't know if you can get them really both in there. And this to show how it really is. He is humongous. And here is a deluxe class crowbar next to him. So yeah. I think the scale is nice. You know, it's not perfect scaling, but you know, it's nice to have them in this kind of scale. And like I say, it does come with SCORPONOK, which does have a double hinge here. You got a hinge back here and a hinge here, so you can get some good articulation in his tail and fire out of it if he does and slap people. His front claws do move. There's on this one thing here. And that's really it. Everything else is, no, the stationary is not going to move. But he's a nice little, I would say, the Legends class kind of figure. Just has good detailing on the paint. He's got his eyes painted. Okay, if I get his eyes to focus, focusing his eyes. He's got decent paint detailing all throughout the figure. So, and he does look good with old Blackout here. Anyway, overall as a figure, he is excellent. He's a good shelf piece. Looks very much like movie Blackout. Very happy to have a good, accurate Blackout. Like I said, the mostly negatives of any of these Studio Series figures, and for this figure here, is just the tabbings, getting tabs stay in. Sometimes things will pop off fairly easy that are on hinges, but of course you can easily just snap it all right back in. Like I said, I'd be wary of this little gun. If you have it sticking out a lot, just beware of not hitting it too much. Anything else? I do have a little paint blob here on this figure. It's from the black paint here. They just got a little bit on top, and it's kind of, I probably just scratch it off, and I might try to tint that later. So now cons, that's really about it. Just the tabbing, and you know. Now overall, the detail of the figure, you can see he is very much detailed, sculpted, and it is very, very nice. So if you are a movie fan, or at least of the designs or the figures themselves, I would say this is a must-have. Blackout. Anyway, thanks for watching. Until the next one. Peace out.